Daniela, Belmonte, Valencia. Rompe el hielo. Y nos trae, por cierto, el mensaje. Así que le escuchamos. A ver.
Hola, es el otro, este es el segundo. Well, hello everyone. My name is Daniela Belmonte Valencia. I am a 3D animator with experience in different types of productions, but today I am here as a director to present our project, El Mensaje, the message. When my brother and I decided to leave Mexico to look for better opportunities and live abroad, my parents were left alone. To cope with our absence, my mother decided to learn about grief counseling to help herself and later others. Sorry. Through this process is when this idea of this project was born. She started writing this story and she realized that she saw herself reflected on it. Unconsciously, she was writing out of the resentment that she had towards her own father when she was younger. She was able to overcome this feeling, but unfortunately, not everyone has the opportunity to do so. We are often told stories about how to deal with the death of our loved ones. But what happens when we have to deal with the grief of losing someone that, even though we tried, we could never love? Erandi, our main character, is about to face this situation when she finds herself at her father's funeral. Erandi is a very reserved person. She learned these traits from her father, but deep down she always wanted to be more outgoing and rebellious. She wanted to stop seeking for the approval of her father. She lost her mother when she was really young, so she always wanted to feel reassurance and love from her father, but never did. She clings to the only happy memory that they have together, that was of going to a wrestling match together. Don Eugenio, Erandi's father, is a very difficult man. He was very tough, he was very distant, very strict. He grew up under the tough hand of his own father, and although he always complained about his upbringings, he ended up being just the same. When he lost his wife, he didn't know how to cope with this grief, so he ended up being an angry and a bitter man. Although he didn't know better, that doesn't justify the lack of love and how easily he gave up on saving his relationship with Erandi. After Don Eugenio's funeral, Erandi finds a box with his belongings. Through these things, she finds some documents, a photograph, and Don Eugenio's cell phone. Erandi takes the phone and starts looking through the messages until she finds the conversation that they both held throughout these years. These messages bring back all the bad memories of their broken relationship and also make her remember all the kind and loving words that she always wanted to hear from him, but never did. Behind her, there's a portrait of Don Eugenio that magically comes to life and drags her into an imaginary world. In this imaginary world, Erandi finds herself lying on a wrestling ring. She looks up and finds Don Eugenio looking at her, waiting for her to confront him. At first she refuses, but then a butterfly appears and will guide her through this journey. This will be her alebrije, her spiritual guide through this journey of acceptance with this grief. Also, Don Eugenio is represented by an animal. In this case, it's an eagle, and it's no coincidence that it's the same animal that appears in our national flag. Unfortunately, in Mexico, according to the national statistics, 4,180,000 households have an absent father. 3 out of every 4 children of separated parents do not receive childcare payments from the father, and there is a really big sense of abandonment in our society. This doesn't always come only from parents that are not physically there, but also the ones that are emotionally unavailable. Eugenio represents every absent father, not just a Mexican one. Erandi will have then to realize that she has to confront her father one last time to find that perhaps the only one that can give her the love and reassurance that she has always wanted can only be done by herself. Behind this project, there's a very talented team that did this with all our love. My mother, Seni Valencia Lua, as the creator, my brother in the sound design and composing the original music, and Omaira Gonzalez Perez, that although we don't share blood, she feels like family to me, and myself. Our short film is meant to have an estimated duration of 3 minutes. It's a drama targeted for an audience of over 16. We are currently at a development stage, and it's meant to be a 3D animation. Since we don't want the short film to have dialogue, we will rely entirely on the sound design and the music. Also because we think that the visual part, it's only half the job. This is why my brother did an extensive research on how to achieve this. We wanted it to feel as immersive as possible and for people to feel that they were at a lucha libre in Mexico City. That's why we decided that we wanted to compose a Mexican cumbia. Lucha Libre and Mexican cumbia both share a deep connection as popular symbols for our culture. They both originated in popular neighborhoods and later on merged into entertainment. Our lyrics seem to talk about heartbreak, but when Erandi listens to this song, she finds her own relationship reflected in it. Since we want this short film to feel close, we want it to feel, as we would say in Mexico, like an apapacho, a soulful embrace. We wanted to represent the handmade part of it. With Omaira, we've been looking of ways to achieve this by inspiring ourselves, but with stop motion animation, the colorful maximalism that we have in Mexico, and also the Mexican handicrafts. With this story, we do not want to deepen into the bad father and daughter relationship that our characters have, but into the journey that Erandi will undertake to heal the wound that she has. We want to reflect on the possibilities of changing the way we look at our experiences. It's not about denying them nor forgetting them, but probably looking at them from a different perspective. Being here today as finalist in Next Lab has represented an opportunity for us for taking this project from something really small and personal into something with a bigger scope. But it also helped with the second secret objective that my mom had of shortening the distances that separate us. I was lucky enough to work closely with my brother, although remotely, for this project. And also, my mom was able to take an airplane all the way from Mexico to be here today, listening to the speech and watching her ideas come to life. This is a project that is currently at the stage of development, so we're looking at ways of bringing it forward. If you know of ways that could help us achieve our goal, we will be more than happy to speak with you. Without further ado, I will leave you with our teaser, which is not a visual final look that we're after, but serves as a proof of concept of our story and our characters. So I hope you like it. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you liked it and were able to see the story reflected in it. So, as I was saying, this was a big opportunity for us. So, I would like to share now all the process and suffering that led to this piece. Um, what you just saw was a teaser for testing the story and the characters of our short film. It is completely done in Quill, from modeling, animating, and also the lighting. It's a piece done completely with this tool. It's a minute, and the target and the genre remain the same as in the short film project. Although all the team was present throughout all of this process, the visual part of it, we were, Omaira and myself, responsible for it. In total, we spent in the whole workshop around 270 hours. Most of it was in Quill because I needed to animate the whole piece. We did some testing in AI. We didn't invest that much time, but I will get into that better later. We started this workshop with nothing more than the two concepts that we had developed for our initial Bible, which were this. So we were trying to use this opportunity also to find the visual development that we were after. Spoiler alert, our plans weren't going to work as we wanted. Because of some difficulties, Omaira couldn't help me from the start, so I was left alone like this raccoon, trying to understand what was I going to do from now on. So I needed to readjust our original plan of trying to find our visual look, and we decided to go more into the narrative part of our teaser. That's why I did a layout in Blender, this is Blender, to try to find out what I could do by myself in these weeks. And also I set it up for myself 3 milestones, the plan A, plan B, and plan C, that were according to respecting the narrative of the project, but also like giving myself time to realize if I was going to be able to achieve this by learning these new tools that were Quill and AI. With these milestones set, I started with the most important shot, that was the funeral one, and those were the props that I started to model. You can see here the progress of my candles. I was very proud of that one, but now I hate it. So yeah, it was really easy to iterate and to prototype and to change things along the way. So it was a really pretty fun thing to do. And also, these were my ugly first tests of the character. I did this also to have something to start looking into the visual development also with AI. So it was a bit of, I think, more basic. But then I was able to achieve this look for the characters in the modeling part. I tried to go as fast as I could because I wanted to center my energies and attention into the animation part, because I am an animator. I don't know really how to draw. So this was pretty surprising for me to achieve this kind of appeal with Quill. In the part of animation, I love the possibility that Quill represented for mixing a rig part to animate with the folders, and also a frame-to-frame animation that gave us the possibility of mixing both in the same shots. With this type of animation that was with the folder system, also gave us the freedom to later on come back to the shot and light it without losing any animation or needing to do everything once again. And with the frame by frame, it was really fun to explore the effect of the painting melting down and some smear frames that helped in certain shots. This is the jump. Yay. So at first, it's the learning curve was really pretty interesting for us because the first shot, although it was the most complex one, took me around 20 hours to animate. But then when I started getting use of the tool, I was able to do 3 shots, animate 3 shots in the same amount of time. So for me, it was crazy to see the difference and how fast I could go and start doing more and more and more. I had to stop myself because if not, I would have done the whole short film. So we had the opportunity to explore with AI. Since I knew that Quill wasn't going to give me a final pixel look, I decided that I would try and use the render AI for the piece and try to test the limits of it when talking about giving it an input, a video input, an animated input. So I'll show you. Can you play the video? Thank you. So I started with the first ugly test that I had to see how it would look. I started first with our main objective that was of making it look handmade and stop motion, but I didn't like it. I realized that it was going to take more time to understand and to see how I could prompt what I wanted. So I decided to change strategy and go to a more pictorial look that I thought it was going to be easier. And I took the concept that we had and just said, use this art and do your magic. It was more for setting the tone, the atmosphere, and yeah, but still respecting that look that Quill gave me that I really liked. I saw that with still images, it was easy for it to understand what I wanted, so the consistency was pretty good. And I was seeing things that were, I don't know, promising. But later on, also, I realized that for video, the best pipeline was to render the first frame with the style that I wanted, and then use that frame as a reference for the whole video. So in that way, the AI knew what was happening and was easier to achieve something that worked. With this shot, that was the most complex shot that I don't know how still to explain to people. It was really hard to explain it to an AI. So because it was so many information and so many things going on, I had to separate it into 3 different shots for the AI to have less information to process and to see if the AI could understand what I wanted. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen. It did so many weird things. I saw that I needed to be iterating more and more and more. The credits were just flew by, and I realized that this wasn't going to work in my case. I had complex things that I didn't really quite knew how to explain, and the things I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. It still looked, it wasn't also coherent with what we wanted with the film, that was of it feel close and it feel personal and handmade, and we thought that this was not the way. With AI, we realized that it was not black or white. There were different things to see in this process. It has its pros, that is that you can iterate a lot and you can find a lot of inspiration throughout this process. In our case, we could use as reference the lightings that it gave to understand how to translate it later on when we lighted it on Quill. But in other things, I didn't like it. I think that if we would have a clearer image of what we wanted of our visual development, probably it would have been easier to translate it to the AI and to explain it. So that's something that we saw. We didn't have like much clarity with it. I was seeing that everything was setting on fire, but Omi came back. She appeared and we together tried to, in this last week, because she reincorporated in the last week, we could give the short film an extra push in the lighting, the ambience, and the tone that we wanted. Omi had to readapt to what I already had and do her magic in the lighting and ambience and getting the tone that we wanted. We also achieved that everything looked more coherent and that everything shared the same universe. We also wanted to deepen more into the lighting. Sorry about that, into the lighting. And we wanted to animate also, but we realized that it was going to take a lot of time. It was the last week. So we just animated the things that were essential, like the cell phone or the candles with the lighting things. And yeah, it took the project from one stage into another with this lighting pass. So this was the best possible outcome for us. This is a paint over in Procreate color script on the layout that we had in Blender. This was like, we were optimistic we could achieve this, but we ended up achieving even more with Quill. If we use this as a case of study of something that had nothing going on, we were able to achieve something pretty cohesive, coherent, and that helped us sell the story better. And also, we saw that we were going so fast that we ended up putting even more shots, more animated shots that I first thought I could do. And if I would have taken the Quill part, the AI short, it would be even less, less animated sequences, and it didn't work for me. It doesn't have the same feeling as the Quill piece, so I think it's a bit self-explanatory on why I decided to go for the Quill teaser. So this was a pretty fun and interesting experience for us. As the journey that Terandi will have to undertake, we had to undertake a big journey of reaching walls and obstacles that we needed to be readjusting our ways. And we ended up with something that makes us really proud, that we really liked, and that has the essence of our story. It also made us immerse ourselves in our own story again and have the hunger to go for more with it and bring it forward. So thank you so much for your attention and for being here so early.